Good evening students. In today's class I am going to start with the new chapter, that is dual nature of radiation and matter. Okay, so let us discuss the important topics from this chapter. What is the first important topic? That is Einstein's photoelectric equation. Einstein's photoelectric equation. Photoelectric equation. And one thing remember here, Heinrich Hertz discovered the photoelectric effect, but the photoelectric effect was explained by Einstein according to quantum theory of light. Now, what is Einstein's photoelectric equation? That is E equal to pi naught plus K maximum. E is equal to pi naught plus K maximum. What is E? E is energy of incident radiation. What is pi naught? Work function of the metal. K maximum is the kinetic energy of the photoelectron or kinetic energy of the ejected electron from the metallic surface. Now, so where E is equal to h into nu. So nu is frequency of incident radiation and h is Planck's constant. Already you know that what is the value of h. So that is 6.63 into 10 to the power of minus 34 joule second. Now h into nu. Then next, in terms of wavelength we can write hc by lambda. Hc by lambda. So remember, nu is frequency of incident radiation and lambda is wavelength of the incident radiation, and its value is about 12,400 divided by lambda, that is in angstrom. If the lambda is in angstrom, the energy of incident radiation can be calculated by 12,400 divided by lambda. If the lambda is in angstrom, means wavelength is in angstrom. If the wavelength is in nanometer, then it is 1240, and its unit energy of incident radiation is electron volt. What is the value of 1 electron volt in terms of joule? So 1 electron volt is equal to 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 joule. And 1 joule in terms of electron volt, 1 joule is equal to 1 by 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 electron volt. Because, so let us take this value to the left hand side, that comes to the denominator. Then it is 1 by 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 electron volt. So remember this. For the conversion of electron volt to joule and joule to electron volt. Next, work function of the metal. What do you mean by work function? It is the minimum energy required to remove the electron from the metallic surface. Then work function, that is pi naught. Sometimes work function can be represented by W. Then h into nu naught. What is nu naught? Nu naught is threshold frequency. Below this frequency there is no photoelectric emission. Okay. Then in terms of threshold wavelength, that is hc by lambda naught. Hc by lambda naught, and its value is about 12,400 divided by lambda naught. So if the lambda naught is in angstrom, if the lambda naught is in angstrom, if the lambda naught is in nanometer, then it is 1240, and this work function is also measured in electron volt. So this is about energy, work function, and one more, that is kinetic energy. Maximum kinetic energy is equal to 1 by 2 m V maximum square. V maximum square. Then what is V maximum here? It is the maximum speed of the photoelectron, or it is the maximum speed of the ejected electron from the metallic surface. Now what is m? M is mass of the electron. Okay. So this is all about the Einstein's photoelectric equation. Now, so let us move to the next point. In order to find the kinetic energy of the ejected electron or the kinetic energy of the photoelectron, that is K maximum is equal to E minus of pi naught. E minus of pi naught. Now, E can be written as h into nu. This is energy of incident radiation, and this is energy of one photon. If n number of photons are there, we can write n into h nu. Then minus of work function of the metal, that is h nu naught, h nu naught. Then what is common in these two? H is common, hence nu minus of nu naught. Then this is the formula used to find the maximum kinetic energy of the photoelectron. Then the ratio of the kinetic energies of the ejected electrons for the same metal, for the different frequencies. See, if frequencies, incident frequencies are, if the frequencies are nu1 and nu2, but metallic surface is same. If the metallic surface is same, then threshold frequency is constant. Threshold frequency is constant, but the frequencies of incident radiations are different, nu1 and nu2. Then how to find the ratios of kinetic energies? Ratio of kinetic energies, that is K1. K1 is equal to h nu1 minus nu naught. H nu1 minus nu naught. Frequency, threshold frequency is same, but the first incident frequency is nu1. For the first incident frequency, the kinetic energy of the ejected electron is K1. Then next K2, h into nu2 minus of nu naught. Then taking the ratios of them, then we will get K1 by K2, that is equal to h get cancel, then nu1 minus of nu naught divided by nu2 minus of nu naught. So this is the formula used to find the ratios of, the ratio of kinetic energies. Then how to find the ratio of kinetic energy in terms of wavelength? In terms of wavelength, if the two different wavelengths are given, this is first case. If two different frequencies given, those nu1 and nu2, then next, if two different wavelengths are given, if two different wavelengths given, if two different wavelengths are given. So first wavelength I will take lambda 1, second wavelength that is lambda 2, but these two different wavelengths are incident on the same metallic surface. Same metallic surface means threshold wavelength is same. Okay, then I will write by using this one, K1 by K2 is equal to nu1 can be written as C by lambda 1. Nu1 can be written as C by lambda 1 minus nu naught can be written as C by lambda naught. Then whole divided by nu2 can be written as C by lambda 2. And nu naught can be written as again C by lambda naught. What is common here? Common is C. C is common. So here also C is common. Then C get cancelled. What remaining now? It is 1 by lambda 1 minus 1 by lambda naught whole divided by 1 by lambda 2 minus 1 by lambda naught. If the two different wavelengths are given, how to find the ratio of kinetic energies? That is by the formula K1 by K2 is equal to 1 by lambda 1 minus 1 by lambda naught divided by 1 by lambda 2 minus 1 by lambda naught. Then how to find the ratio of velocities of the ejected electrons, or how to find the ratio of speeds of the ejected electrons? See here, K1. What is K1? K1 is 1 by 2 m v1 square. And what is K2? 1 by 2 m v2 square. M is mass of the electron, 1 by 2 m get cancelled. Then what remaining now? v1 square by v2 square. And the square taken to the right hand side, that becomes square root. Then v1 by v2 is equal to square root of nu1 minus nu naught divided by nu2 minus nu naught. Here also same. v1 by v2 is equal to square root of 1 by lambda 1 minus 1 by lambda naught divided by 1 by lambda 2 minus 1 by lambda naught. It is the ratio of speed of the ejected electrons. So now let us move to the next point, that is the laws of photoelectric effect. What is first law of photoelectric effect? First law of photoelectric effect is the photoelectric current is directly proportional to the intensity of incident radiation. First one. laws of photoelectric effect. First one, the photoelectric current. So I will represent the photoelectric current by IPH is directly proportional to the intensity of incident radiation. So as the intensity of incident radiation increases, the photoelectric current also increases linearly. See here, I will plot the graph here. Along x-axis I will take intensity, and along y-axis I will take photoelectric current. Photoelectric current can be represented by IPH. Then how to increase the intensity? By increasing the number of photons. Now, as the intensity increases, photoelectric current also increases linearly. So this is the graphical representation of the photoelectric current versus intensity. Then what is second law of photoelectric effect? Second law of photoelectric effect. Then the kinetic energy of photoelectrons is directly proportional to the frequency of incident radiation. The frequency of incident radiation. And one thing remember, the kinetic energy of photoelectrons is independent of intensity. Okay. So the kinetic energy of ejected electrons is directly proportional to frequency of incident radiation. But the kinetic energy of ejected electrons is independent of intensity of incident radiation. So let us plot the graph for this one. Kinetic energy versus frequency. Along x-axis frequency taken, and along y-axis kinetic energy taken. Then as the frequency of incident radiation increases from threshold frequency, the kinetic energy increases. The kinetic energy increases, and this is threshold frequency. Below this frequency there is no photoelectric emission. Okay. So as the frequency increases from threshold frequency, the kinetic energy of ejected electron also increases. And one thing remember, the kinetic energy is independent of intensity of incident radiations here. Along x-axis I will take intensity. And here, if we are going to increase the intensity of incident radiation, but the kinetic energy of ejected electron remains constant. If we are going to increase the intensity of incident radiation, but the kinetic energy of ejected electrons remains constant because frequency kept constant. Frequency is constant. So this is the graphical representation. Then what about third law? So third law is that the stopping potential is directly proportional to frequency. Stopping potential can be represented by Vs. What do you mean by stopping potential? It is the minimum negative potential given to the collector plate to make the current in the circuit as 0. So stopping potential is directly proportional to frequency. And one more, stopping potential is independent of intensity. Stopping potential is independent of intensity. So stopping potential only depends on frequency. Okay. Now, so this is all about the laws of photoelectric effect. Next one, de Broglie wavelength. De Broglie wavelength. De Broglie wavelength. What is the expression for de Broglie wavelength? That is lambda is equal to h by p. Lambda is equal to h by p. So h is Planck's constant, p is momentum of the particle. Momentum of the particle. So this is de Broglie wavelength in terms of momentum. Supposed to be the particle is photon. The particle is photon. Then how to write de Broglie wavelength? H by m into c. Or supposed to be the particle is electron, then lambda is equal to h by m into v. Okay. Suppose particle is photon, then how to write de Broglie wavelength? That is lambda is equal to h by m into c. C is speed of photon. Okay, because photon is the particle of light. If the particle is electron, then what is the formula used to find the de Broglie wavelength? That is h by m into v. H by m into v. Remember this one. So next one, de Broglie wavelength in terms of kinetic energy. Second one, de Broglie wavelength in terms of kinetic energy, that is h is equal to square root of 2mk. Square root of 2mk. What is m? M is mass of the moving particle. What is k? K is the kinetic energy of the moving particle. So here, so momentum. What is the formula for kinetic energy? That is k is equal to 1 by 2 m v square. Then, so I will multiply by m and divided by m. So what happens? Multiplied by m, that is m square, divided by m into v square. Again it remains same. If one m get cancelled, it remains same. What is m square into v square? That is p square, momentum square. 1 by 2 p square by m. Then it is k. Then p is equal to square root of 2mk. Square root of 2mk. Now, de Broglie wavelength of the moving electron. De Broglie wavelength of the moving electron. If the kinetic energy of moving electron is given, then how to write that one? For electron. So lambda is equal to 12.27 divided by square root of k. Okay. By calculating h by square root of 2m, then we will get 12.27, then divided by square root of k. Keep k as it is, because we substituted the values of mass of the electron and Planck's constant. Then we got how much? 12.27 divided by square root of k, and this is in terms of angstrom. Next, de Broglie wavelength in terms of accelerating potential, that is lambda is equal to h by square root of 2m q into v. So what is m? Mass of the moving particle. What is q? Q is the charge on the moving particle. And what is v? V is accelerating potential. Now here for the electron, again it is lambda is equal to 12.27, so divided by square root of v, and this is also in terms of angstrom. Okay. So in terms of nanometer, what happens? 1.227. Okay, but here it is in terms of angstrom, then it is 12.27. So this is all about the de Broglie wavelength in terms of momentum, kinetic energy, and also the accelerating potential. So let us solve some questions related to all those important formula. Now let us solve some questions asked in previous year question papers. So what is the question? That question is related to the de Broglie wavelength, and this question asked in the year 2015. Find the de Broglie wavelength of an electron with kinetic energy of 120 electron volt. So here the kinetic energy of electron is given, that is 120 electron volt. And options: first option 124 picometer, second option 112 picometer, third option 102 picometer, and last option 95 picometer. So which is the correct answer we have to find? See solution. So what is the kinetic energy given? That is 120 electron volt. Now what we have to find? We have to find de Broglie wavelength of the electron. So that is lambda is equal to 12.27. So already I said that how to find the de Broglie wavelength of the electron. 12.27, and this is in terms of angstrom. In terms of angstrom is 10 to the power of minus 10 meter. If it is in terms of nanometer, then it is 1.227 divided by square root of k. So square root of k means it is square root of 120. So Square root of 120 is near to the square root of 121. What is the square root of 121? That is 11. Then square root of 120 is near to square root of 121 means it is 10.9 something. 10.9 something. All right. 12.27 into 10 to the power of minus 10. Then it is 10.95. 10.95. So on solving this one, we will get the answer is about 1.12 into 10 to the power of minus 10 meter. Now let us displace this decimal point after 2 digits in the right direction. So 112 into 10 to the power of minus 2 into 10 to the power of minus 10. Then it is 112 10 to the power of minus 12 meter. Into 10 to the power of minus 12 meter. So 10 to the power of minus 12 meter is picometer. Then 112 picometer. Then this is the correct answer. And it is the de Broglie wavelength of the electron of kinetic energy 120 electron volt. Then which is the correct option here? Correct option B is the correct. Option B is correct. Now let us move to the next question. That question also asked in the same year, that is in the year 2015. Light of two different frequencies whose photons have energies 1 electron volt and 2.5 electron volt respectively. So respectively successively illuminate a metallic surface whose work function is 0.5 electron volt. Ratio of maximum speeds of the emitted electrons will be. What we have to find? The ratio of maximum speeds of the emitted electrons. Options given. First option 1:1, second option 1:2, third option 1:4 and last option 1:5. So let us solve this question. Solution. So energy is given. First energy how much given? That is 1 electron volt. And second energy, that is 2.5 electron volt. And work function of the metallic surface is given, that is pi naught is equal to, that is 0.5 electron volt. Then what is our aim? Our aim is to find the ratio of maximum speeds of the ejected electrons or emitted electrons. Now K1 by K2 is equal to E1 minus of pi naught divided by E2 minus of pi naught. Because metallic surface is same here, then work function remains same. So let us substitute the values. What is K1? That is 1 by 2 m V1 square whole divided by 1 by 2 m V2 square. Then 1 by 2 m get cancel. What is E1? E1 is 1 electron volt. And what is pi naught? 0.5. 1 minus 0.5, that is 0.5. 0.5 electron volt. And what about E2? 2.5. And what about pi naught? That is 0.5. 2.5 minus 0.5, that is 2 electron volt. 2 electron volt. Then V1 square by V2 square is equal to 0.5 divided by 2, that is 1 by 4. 1 by 4. Electron volt get cancel. But we need the ratio of V1 and V2. Okay. Now V1 by V2 is equal to square root of 1 by 4. Square root of 1 by 4 is 1 by 2. Hence answer is 1:2. 1:2. Then which is the correct option here? Second option is the correct. So these two questions asked in the year 2015 in the KCET exam. Next question. This question asked in the year 2016 in the KCET exam. See here. So graph is given here. Along y-axis photocurrent given and along x-axis collector potential. And along positive x-axis collector potential means it is a positive potential of the anode or positive potential of the collector. And along negative x-axis retarding potential is given, means it is stopping potential. Stopping potential means the negative potential given to the anode. Now, so what we have to find in this question? What we have to find? We have to find the relation between nu1, nu2 and nu3. See here, what is the question? the variation of photocurrent, with collector potential for different frequencies nu1, nu2, nu3 as shown in the graph. Then what we have to find? We have to find the relation between nu1, nu2 and nu3. See here, V01 is less than V02 and V02 is less than V03. V01 is less than V02 and V02 is less than V03, and the frequency and stopping potential both are directly proportional. If V01 is less than V02 and V02 is less than V03, then nu1 is less than nu2 and nu2 is less than nu3. Hence this is the answer. So third option is the correct answer. Third option is nu1 is less than nu2 and nu2 is less than nu3. And the next question, that is related to again the de Broglie wavelength of an electron. Then how to find the de Broglie wavelength of an electron? But in the question potential is given, accelerated potential is given. So what is the question? The de Broglie wavelength of an electron accelerated to a potential of 400 volt is approximately. So options given: 0.03 nanometer, 0.04 nanometer, 0.12 nanometer, and last option 0.06 nanometer. So how to find this one? De Broglie wavelength in terms of accelerating potential, that is 12.27 divided by square root of V. What is V? V is accelerating potential and this is in angstrom, but options given in nanometer. So that is why it is 1.227. 1.227 into 10 to the power of minus 9 meter. 10 to the power of minus 9 meter means it is nanometer, divided by square root of. So here the accelerating potential is 400. Square root of 400 is 20. Square root of 400 is 20. Hence on solving this one we will get, that is 0.06 into 10 to the power of minus 9 meter. Hence it is 0.06 nanometer. Then this is the correct answer. So fourth option is the correct. Option 4 is correct. So next question, this question asked in the year 2017. What is the question? From the following graph of photocurrent against collector plate potential. So means along y-axis photocurrent given and along x-axis collector plate potential given. For two different intensities of light, I1 and I2, one can conclude. What is the graph given? See here, this is graph. Along y-axis photocurrent given and along x-axis potential given, collector potential. Collector potential. Now so this current for the intensity I2 and this current for the intensity I1, and it is the stopping potential, that is minus of V0. Then what we have to find here, in the given question we have to find the relation between I1 and I2. See here, the photocurrent depends on intensity. If intensity maximum, then current is maximum. Okay, means I2 is greater than I1, because for the I2 current is maximum but for the I1 current is minimum. Hence the intensity I2 is greater than I1. I2 is greater than I1. So here options given. What is first option? I1 equal to I2. It is wrong. Second option, I1 is greater than I2. This is also wrong. Then third option, I1 is less than I2, and last option, comparison is not possible. So third option is the correct, because I2 greater than I1 means I1 is less than I2, because for the I2 current is maximum and for the I1 current is minimum. That is why I2 is greater than I1 or I1 is less than I2. Then which is the correct option here? Third option is the correct, that is I1 is less than I2. Then next question, That question also asked in the year 2017. A particle is dropped from a height h. The de Broglie wavelength of the particle depends on the height as. Means how the de Broglie wavelength related to the height. Particle is dropped from the height h. There is a particle. This particle is dropped from the height h. This is height h. Now, the de Broglie wavelength of the particle depends on the height is. Then how the de Broglie wavelength? That depends on height. See here, this is particle. Initially this particle is at rest, then its initial velocity 0. Then by using kinematic equations, what is kinematic equation? V square is equal to u square plus 2as. Then what about initial velocity? Initial velocity of the particle is 0. Then I will take it is 0. Then if we are going to drop this particle, then it falls under gravity. Then instead of a, I will take acceleration due to gravity. 2 into g, s can be replaced by h. Then it is 2gh. Then v square is equal to 2gh. Then v is equal to square root of 2gh. Square root of 2gh. But our aim is to find the de Broglie wavelength associated with the particle, falling particle. Now that is lambda is equal to h by m into v. H by m into v. Then now h by m, v is square root of 2gh. Square root of 2gh. See here, I will write h by m into square root of 2g into square root of h. This whole thing is constant here. This whole thing is constant. Planck's constant is constant. Mass of the particle is constant. Acceleration due to gravity is also constant. Means this whole thing is constant. Hence lambda is inversely proportional to h raised to 1 by 2. Square root of h means here it is h raised to 1 by 2. This h raised to 1 by 2 taken to the numerator, that becomes h raised to minus 1 by 2. Lambda is directly proportional to h raised to minus 1 by 2. Then options given. First option h, second option h naught, third option h raised to plus 1 by 2, last option h raised to minus 1 by 2. Option D is correct. Option D is correct. Yes, this is about the questions asked in the year 2017.